Because it seems like you automatically knew how to jump in.
Critical, absolutely critical. And the short version of the story again is multiple instances of corporate training, and the idea of, your first thing is, to find a suitable exit. And it was critical. It was absolutely critical, I think. And I urge everybody to go through it, because at least you have the basics. I'm not a trained law enforcement officer. I don't, so I claim no expertise other than the fact that the training put you in scenarios where you had to imagine this happening, and that helped. That helped a lot.
Yeah, you didn't know you'd have to use it today, but it seems like it did come in handy. LaToya?
LaToya now, Tiffany, and thank Robert for his time there, and we're so glad he had that training, was able to help. He said 20 or so people exit that building, and that is some new information we're getting from him, that the shooter was taken down inside the club, not outside as that person tried to leave. I was going to ask you, Tiffany, to just kind of widen out the view that we can see. We know you're talking with one witness there. We know a lot of people are stuck in the area because we see all the cars in the parking lot. Are there groups gathered to your left or to your right? Do you see more people?
Yeah, so we're going to show you, we're going to have this showing some of this scene here. So essentially you have family members, you have people who are waiting for their vehicles, because again, this is an active crime scene, as police tell us. So even though they did clear out the gym, people do have to wait for their cars. That whole area is roped off at this time, but you do have people who exited the gym. It's a very emotional scene here, as you can tell. A lot of questions: why this happened, why in this community, why on a normal day where you don't expect something like this. So we're continuing to go around and speak with people, but we can tell you that this scene will be cautioned off for quite a period of time as we work to gather more details. A lot of emotions here, a lot of embracing of loved ones, a very, very sad scene that, to be honest, it's sad that we have to constantly continue covering things like this in our community. But it's nice to know that people like Robert are out there jumping in when these situations do occur to make sure that they can protect anyone they can.
And it was sad to hear him when he said that he'd had some training in active shooter situations, and you thought maybe the next line would be he was a former law enforcement or military, but he said no, from his corporate life. We're getting some fresh numbers in now in terms of the victims in this shooting. We know the shooter was shot, but we'll leave that aside for now. As far as victims, we understand 5 people were shot, 1 person died, and 1 of the 4 remaining victims at UMC is now in critical condition.
Yeah, and the fact that they're at UMC, it actually lends to us some knowledge of what's going on there. That's our trauma center.
Right,
and
level
so,
1 trauma. Yeah.
It basically is telling us that perhaps they have more serious injuries because they were taken there. And when we were hearing from Robert, he was talking about the fact that, he didn't see the shooter, he didn't see anything like that, but it took them time to kind of figure out what is going on here. He had on those noise canceling headphones, he said, and a lot of people were working there. When you walk in to the right, you can see that there's a workout center with the free weights and
heavy weights.
The heavy weights for folks who would like to, pump iron, if you will. And then there's another side where all of the cardio equipment is. So potentially a lot of people on that side. And as you mentioned earlier, this is a 2-story facility, and so some people were up top watching this all play out. And one witness reportedly saying that the gunman's gun jammed at some point, and that is when police were able to take that person down. But for whatever reason, they say that there was some type of altercation with a person who worked there, possibly a manager there at the LVAC. That person, the gunman that I'm talking about, left the facility at one point. They say that person came back with what they believed to be a long gun, and Robert said he thought it was automatic. He said he wasn't for certain, but that he does have some knowledge of firearms there. And so
it'll be interesting to hear if a bump stock device was used to even make it more rapid fire, like we saw at the shooting on 1 October. And yeah, you point out there are a lot of loud noises inside a gym when those weights slam together, somebody drops a dumbbell or a heavy barbell on the floor. So a lot of people, at first hearing a loud noise didn't make anything. Came home and you expected to see Family Feud on the air right now. Let's just get you up to speed. We are covering what we now know is a mass shooting with 5 people shot at the Las Vegas Athletic Club on Rainbow, which is just south of Lake Mead, just north of Vegas Drive. We know that police engaged the suspect inside the club, shot that person, and that person is now at UMC.
Yeah, police doing the painstaking task of trying to, I'm sure, interview all of the people who were there to find out if anyone knew who this person was, the gunman in question, and what may have played out right before those terrifying shots rang out here at this club. This was around 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, for folks who've lived here for a long time and you know the inner workings of how Las Vegas works, we have shift workers here, and so this was a 24-hour club to try to accommodate the community so people could work out whenever. This was during the lunch hour, and so chances are there were a lot of people there. Many of them now probably will never be the same because of what happened, regardless of how close they were to the situation. It really does impact your sense of security when you're out and about and then something terrifying like this happens.
No doubt, because as you were saying just a few minutes ago, we have seen this in so many situations now on the campus of UNLV, at the country music concert down there by Mandalay Bay on 1 October, at a lawyer's office where we saw that shooting during a custody battle, and now at a place where people go to get healthy and go in thinking about improving themselves and getting a workout on a Friday before they head into the weekend, and all of a sudden that is interrupted by gunfire. Those bullets finding 5 victims, 1 killed, 1 critical now at UMC, so 4 people being treated at UMC in addition to the gunman who was shot by police.
Yeah, so many witnesses there at the scene. Our Dana Wagner spoke to one of them not too long ago. Let's go ahead and listen to what that person had to say.
I heard the emergency exit door sound, and I didn't think nothing of it, so it took me about 10 minutes to finish showering. I walked back into the dressing room, got dressed, saw people's belongings laying on the ground, which knew something wasn't right. Another gentleman came out of the shower and said it was shots. And I said, really? Okay, so I got dressed, and then I peeked out onto the gym floor, saw a gentleman in all black laying face down, and that was a good 15 minutes after I heard, which now is the gunshots.
All right, so another person telling us what it was like as all of this started to play out, and we see a number of people standing around. Earlier we saw folks consoling each other, lots of tears, lots of probably relief that they made it out okay, but then also so much pain knowing that someone did not. One person dead in this situation, another person in critical condition, and then a total of 4 people at UMC at this hour being tended to after we're told someone walked into the gym after getting into an altercation with possibly a manager there at this property with a long gun, started opening fire on the people there at this gym. Again, 5 people have been affected by all of this. One person sadly lost their life, and our Dana Wagner is there at the scene. He's been there since this all started to play out. And Dana, what can you tell us at this hour?
Well, you're going to hear an amazing interview from Lansing Santana. He was in the gym lifting weights with his girlfriend at the time, and they heard a loud bang. She didn't know it was gunfire. He did. And he joins us now live from in front of the gym. So you were working out with your girlfriend, Soleil, right? And all of a sudden you heard a loud bang. You knew immediately what it was?
Immediately what it was. It was just, it's distinctive. And it for me it wasn't scary, but that's not to say anyone else wasn't traumatized. It's just, I'm built that way. So when I heard it, I was beginning the set, and I had decided to actually go downstairs to do my last set, which was amazingly by the racquetball room. And when you get past the racquetball courts, there's an exit door. So when we heard it, I immediately made a beeline, looked back, was getting ready to grab her, and I saw her scooch down, and I said, let's go. So we ran in a zigzag motion out the door. And so when we got out the door, we seen everyone that was running with us started to take place in the parking lot and move back. Some people were traumatized, and there was other people who were beginning to come in. So we were telling them what was happening. She had started crying a little bit, had to hug her, and there was another guy next to us. He started crying, so I had to hug him as well. So then Metro showed up right away.
So Metro officer showed up within minutes?
Minutes. Helicopters, everything. It was amazing.
Okay.
And so what happened was they took a jaded position to the left as you exit the door. When they did that, I didn't realize the gunman was going to come out. They shot maybe 1 or 2 shots towards the door of the window, I think.
So you're saying Metro officers fired into the building. They must have seen the gunman at that point, right?
Coming, right. So he came out with the AR-15 and he kind of hopped around a little bit. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he hopped around. It wasn't planned, obviously. It was probably the adrenaline going. They immediately fired the shots. Maybe 4 or 5, 6 shots.
You're saying Metro fired at him. He did not fire at Metro?
I don't think he got a shot off, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So they neutralized him. He hit the ground on his stomach, face and stomach area. They immediately started to take him towards the cruiser to administer CPR. As they was doing it, I saw his dress shoes. Either boots or dress shoes, but I could tell that they were dress shoes or boots.
You said he had a long gun? I mean, I don't know if you know guns. It looked like an AR-15?
It was an AR. It was strapped on his shoulder. Yes, it was.
So the Metro officers here that neutralized the situation, in your opinion, are they heroes?
Of course they're heroes. I mean, you know, we all have a job to do, but some are, you know, they do a great job. And they go above and beyond what's required. And you have to always celebrate that in any area that you work in, the ones who go above and beyond. I mean, to see how they got there that quick, because what if they didn't? When he came in that parking lot, could you imagine that?
No, could have been a lot worse, is what you're saying.
Worse. Exactly.
Okay, so you were comforting your girlfriend, you were comforting another stranger.
Yeah.
Who's there to comfort you?
Well, again, you know, sometimes we're built a certain way to help others. Because if we all are breaking down and we all have these emotional, then, you know, we need someone, just like the officers, you need someone that's strong or that's a hero in certain moments. But it's not to say anything bad about someone else. That's there. That's how they deal with things.
This is not traumatizing for you?
It wasn't traumatizing, again, because it's just, you know, I wanted to be an FBI at some point in my life. It didn't work out, so maybe it's just in DNA for me to be built that way, to handle certain situations like that and say, remain calm.
I talked to your girlfriend, Soleil. She says she doesn't know if she ever wants to come back to LVAC, especially this particular gym. Do you share that?
No, because I told her it can happen anywhere. And so we can't be recluses in situations like that, because sometimes those situations, you know, turn you into that, and you don't want to do that. We can go anywhere. It could have been a restaurant. It could have been in traffic or anything. So, but if that's what she wants to do, I have to, you know, see how she feels about that. But it's not to say if we go someone else isn't dealing with something in their life.
When you heard the gunfire and you knew it was gunfire, you just decided the first thing we need to do is run away from the gunfire, not hide.
Not hide, because...
Go ahead, get a sip.
I didn't know if I was hit or not.
Oh, so you thought at some point you might have been hit?
Because I started feeling around, and when I exited the door, I felt an exhaustion. I don't know if it's because of the running, but it was a certain exhaustion that came over me when I exited the door, and I was just trusting that I wasn't hit or hurt. And I know that sounds bad, because it's like saying why me, it's like saying why not someone else, and that isn't fair. But it was just, I'm just saying personally, I thought I was hit. But I felt bad for those who lost their lives and got hit, even if it was shrapnel or some of the offset of the bullets. It's never good. So.
And you've been coming to this gym for years, right?
Yeah, for years.
Yeah, and so you know the people that work inside there. Yeah. And we're hearing that maybe one of the workers was shot and killed inside there.
I heard it was a manager. I can't confirm that because I don't have that inside information, but I heard it was a manager. I heard he came in with the gun.
Who came in with a gun?
The shooter.
The shooter, yeah.
Right. I heard it was a dispute days before. That's what I'm hearing. Can't be verified by me right now because I don't know.
I know. The fog of war.
The fog of war, exactly. But I heard he came into one of the offices with one of the girls. I don't know if she was a manager or the worker, but he told her, this is not about you. You stay here. And then he went and chased the other guy down.
So where are you hearing this from? Employees?
Just, yeah, one of the employees and a couple of employees and some of the people that was inside that talked to the employees as well.
Man.
And so it was a targeted attack. So.
Do you have any idea how many gunshots you heard?
Well, initially inside it was about 5, maybe or 6.
Okay.
It was, when you hear it, it's just not traumatizing, but it's an experience.
Well, and especially an AR-15 round, that's a bigger round,
you can
and it makes a louder bang than a 22 or a 35.
In an enclosed space as such.
So, I mean, it is bang,
Bang.
bang, bang.
It's 4th of July. Boom, boom. I mean, it's loud.
That's got to be scary when you hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't traumatized, but I heard gunshots. It was like I'm trusting I'm not hit, so I'm running in that aspect. But for others, man, I felt bad because, again, you know, when you leave your home, you leave your office, you know, we have these opinions about people. We get into little spats maybe, and then you realize that when you see this and experience it, was that really that serious? So you want to love more, you want to hug more, you want to be more altruistic in life, and just maybe do something to help others. Maybe the gunmen, and I hate to say it, but maybe they needed something.
I hear you. Yeah, no doubt. Lansing, I'm glad that you're okay. I want to shake your hand.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that Soleil's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for spending some time with us today. I know it's very traumatic, and I hope you guys are good going forward.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you. Thank you, man.
Grateful for you. Thank you. All right, so that's Lansing Santana. Yeah. He was there today. We lost communication with you, unfortunately, but it was a compelling interview, so I may have gone a little bit longer, but he had a lot to say, and I thought it was worthy of our audience out there to hear what he had to say, what happened inside that building just a short time ago. For now, we'll send it back to you.
It really was something. Dana, thank you for that, and especially when he was talking, I don't know if this struck you the same way, that when they were running away from the gunfire, they were running in a zigzag pattern, which you would think of would be training for someone, you know, in the military or maybe a police officer, but he followed that up by saying, this is the world we live in, and that's just what they knew was the best way to avoid the bullets.
Right, and often in these situations they tell you to run, hide, or fight. He chose to run. We're hearing from other people who also were able to get out. Our Tiffany Lane talking to the person who survived the shooting as well. Tiffany, go ahead.
Zipline.
Latoya and Jim, so I'm here with Claudio Vigani. So Claudio, we're so thankful you're safe. You were actually saying that you've been coming to this gym for 4 years, never expected anything like this, and this is actually not the time you normally come. How tragic is this?
At the beginning it seemed pretty tragic, but then you realize that the guy wasn't really doing a mass shooting. He was just targeting someone. What I heard is that when he walked in, he told the two girls that were at the entrance, you better get out of here because something is going to happen. So he came with an intention to hit that. And the guy is dead, is the manager. That's what I heard. So I don't know whether there was something going on between them, jealousy or maybe other thing, but I wasn't able to find out what it was. But it was definitely a targeted shooting.
And then we heard that there were several other people injured as well. This is usually a peaceful place. I mean, what is your message to all of those who were impacted by this?
Well, you never know when you get out of the house what it can happen. Like I said, I never in my life worked out at this time. 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon is not the time that I would normally come. But just because I went to play golf this morning, I decided to go in the hot tub to relax a little bit. And then I was in the shower, and that's the crazy thing. All of a sudden, someone just came, smashed the door, and came running through the showers and went to the pool. There was another guy there having a shower also, and we looked at each other, and he says, what the hell is, pardon if I can say that, what is going on? It looked really scary, but we finished drying out, and when I went into the locker room, there was 3 guys out there, and one was really panicking, and he told me, there's a shooter in the house, you better get dressed, because I was completely naked. So he told me, you better get dressed fast and try to get out of here. In fact, I forgot my watch. By then, when I got dressed and everything, and I started walking out, I could hear the police there already shouting orders. Get down, move on, come on. So I didn't want to just walk straight out because I didn't know what was going on. So I peeked a little bit out, and there was the police there with some machine guns and everything. And they told me, come on, come on, come on. So while I came out right on the place where the shooting happened, and I could see the guy laying down, face down, with a pool of blood and a trail of blood going there. And when I walked by, there was at least 25 to 30 spent cartridges on the ground. So the guy used a submachine gun to shoot the guy. And then when I walked out, I saw other glasses broken and everything, so it looks like he was spraying it around. And then when I walked out, I saw a guy down on the floor, on the ground, and with the police all over it. I couldn't see him very well. I couldn't recognize, but he was dressed in black. And the police was putting gauze on it and all that. But what the police came about and told us is that he didn't survive. He died at the hospital. So for sure we have 2 dead. And you said you heard some other?
Several other injured.
Okay. And I know the 2 older men. One was shrapnel, and he was taken away, wasn't buried. And the other one was treated at the scene. So they were okay.
Well, we're glad that you're okay, and no, it's a very horrific situation, as you mentioned, something you don't expect here. Claudio, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Yeah.
We'll just thank you for that, Tiffany, and for that interview. We'll remind our viewers that it's unconfirmed at this point that the shooter is dead. That's the word that's going around the scene there in front of the Las Vegas Athletic Club, but sometimes that can be inaccurate. So we'll be working to confirm that as we continue our coverage, and our thoughts and our prayers go out to the victims. 5 people shot, 1 of them killed. The other 4 being treated at UMC, the Level 1 Trauma Center here in Las Vegas, and 1 of them in critical condition right now.
Yeah, and this horrible situation playing out before people's eyes, who literally just showed up for the afternoon to try to get a workout in. Many of them not even sure at first what was going wrong. We've heard from one witness who said he knew that it was gunshots. Other people were kind of confused as to what was happening. And that's because, you know, a lot of people are lifting weights, and sometimes the weights make noise. We heard about neighbors helping neighbors, trying to get people to calm down. As you can imagine, a tragic situation that people will not be the same ever again after seeing something like this and hearing something like this. We saw a number of people also, Jim, at the scene trying to find out about their loved ones, perhaps upset because they're just hearing how all of this played out. And so our thoughts with everyone who was at this gym. And of course, this community is still trying to heal from the situations that have happened in other parts of our community.
We're going to take you to Family Feud here in a minute. If you're just tuning in, we're covering a mass shooting at the Las Vegas Athletic Club on Rainbow, just south of Lake Mead. 5 people shot, 1 of them killed, 4 being treated at UMC. The gunman shot by police. We'll have more coverage for you coming up at 5 o'clock.